Greetings, programs. Atari here, you there, and this is the infamous Sony PlayStation Classic.
This channel is made possible in part by Morning Fame, smarter analytics to simplify YouTube growth. Use the link on your screen right now to get your first month free. And by TubeBuddy, your best friend on the road to YouTube success. Use the affiliate link on your screen to sign up today.
So, this has been the target of lots of ire and lots of optimism across the internet. And I picked one up on Monday. The day it was released, didn't have a problem picking it up, mostly because I think everybody has canceled their pre-orders because they didn't want it, and then all the gamer kids are all like, yeah, it's not good. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab this thing before anybody else grabs one, and I'm going to wait it out because I know this thing is going to be hacked. And it turns out it has been hacked already. It is now Friday after it is December 7th at time of recording, and it has allegedly been hacked already. So I'm here to just kind of walk you through this process as it happens. So subscribe, and you will know as these things happen how to do each step as we go. Today I'm just gonna open the thing up and just enjoy it. I kind of said that I was kind of saying that I would at the very least, if it does not actually get hacked well enough, I will just drop I'll drop a single board computer in there and put a PlayStation emulator on it. But that doesn't necessarily need to be the case anymore. So apparently they are able to put new games on there. Now, of course, it comes with 20 games preloaded, i.e. the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. The game selection is a little questionable. Toshinden's on here, Cool Borders 2's on here, Final Fantasy VII, of course. Intelligent Cube, that's another one I never played. Jumping Flash, no. Mr. Driller, no. Oddworld, I had never played this on the PlayStation. However, I did play it on the PC, and I enjoyed it. Metal Gear Solid, of course, and it's very interesting. The screenshot they're using for Metal Gear Solid is the infamous 140.15 megahertz. That was the secret code that you're going to need later in the game, and it's like, hey, the code's on the back of the box. So I wonder how that's going to work, and that's going to be interesting. And I wonder how that kind of I kind of want to start playing this just to see all the weird little things that Hideo Kojima put in that game and see if they actually translate to this little system. I know it's not going to have the rumble feature during the Psycho Mantis battle, but I wonder if that's going to work. Rayman, great game. Resident Evil, of course. Persona, Ridge Racer, Siphon Filter, one of my favorites. Wild Arms, another one of my absolute favorites. Twisted Metal was great. I liked Twisted Metal 2 better, but I have that as well. So a decent selection, again, Tekken 3, a decent selection of games. Not nearly as terrible as a lot of people were saying. This does have some really good games and fairly exemplary of the PlayStation system. Now, of course, there are a lot of glaring omissions. Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, those are not on there, but we're eventually going to put them on there. So that is that. Sony, are you ready to play? Now, of course, if you're of a certain generation like me, you remember the launch commercials that were like, "You are not ready." The Enos commercials, I believe they were called. So, Sony PlayStation Classic SCPH-1000R, Sony Interactive Entertainment Incorporated, not SCEA, which was Sony Computer Entertainment of America. Few changes on here. Little things like that. So, of course, it's going to be a little bit different. USB AC adapter not included, probably because they just wanted to have the same packaging for everybody and didn't have to worry about supplying localized plugs for the European version and the American version. Of course, this does actually say licensed for distribution in the United States. So apparently this outer packaging, I believe, is probably unique to each region, but the inner packaging, of course, would be the same. Rated 17+, rated mature for blood and gore, sexual themes, strong lyrics, and violence. which is the mark of a quality game from the 1990s. So there we go. So that's all of that stuff. Let's just go ahead and dig in here and see what exactly we have gotten ourselves into. Now, I actually had the second generation of the original PlayStation. That was the one that came with the DualShock controllers. I got that for Christmas one year. I believe it was 96. I want to say it was 96 that I got that. I got it for Christmas, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Lot of really good games on the PlayStation that I remember. I even enjoyed a lot of the really terrible games. Like, one of my favorites is actually Apocalypse, starring Bruce Willis. It's a terrible game, but I love it so much. That was just one of those games that kind of defined my adolescence. Oh God, Incredible Crisis. If you have not played Incredible Crisis, you need to. Just drop what you're doing and go play it. I may do a playthrough eventually just to have some fun with it. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do that or not. So that is the outer shell. We're going to put this right back here so it stays nice and pretty. There is our little PlayStation mark. Now, this is very reminiscent of the original. It did have the outer sleeve and it had the inner box. So I do appreciate that. People were kind of over this, and I think it's just because they don't remember it looking like this. But this is pretty much what it looked like when I got mine. Had the outer sleeve, and then of course the inner box. Internal carton only. For sale only in retail packaging. Authorized by the relevant Sony Interactive Entertainment Company for your region. So there's that. So we're going to open her up again. So this is a very nice packaging design. I do appreciate at least this attention to detail that Sony has gone into. Now, a lot of people are saying that Sony just phoned this thing in, and reading a lot of the original reviews, I'm inclined to agree. However, I'm not entirely convinced of that yet, because I do like the way the packaging is designed, and I've been looking into the system a little bit more, and it seems like it might not be as terrible as some of the more hardcore gamers are letting on. Now, granted, a lot of the hardcore gamers are a good 10 years younger than me, and did not actually grow up with this system. They did not have this system when they were coming along. They were at least of the PS2 era, so there is a lot of like revisionist history looking at it, as well as for somebody like me just enjoying the nostalgia of it, which is all this is really for. It's just for people to enjoy playing some classic games that were more or less exemplary of the system, and to kind of revel in that nostalgia. And so I've opened this upside down, of course, because I'm me, and there is our little PlayStation, and it is incredibly cute. I love it. It is so cute. Looks great. Let's open this little guy up. Let's see. Oh, you are so cute, aren't you? Look at you. It's so cute. Gosh, I hardly even want to open it, but I know I'm gonna like freaking crack this thing open. I'm actually gonna tear this thing down at some point when I start doing the how to hack this thing videos. So be prepared for that later. But for right now, I'm really just enjoying the design here. This is really nice kind of design aesthetic. I need to grab an original PlayStation, but it is roughly, that would be roughly the dimensions of the original PlayStation. So it's roughly a third of that size, maybe. A little thinner, certainly much lighter. Of course, there's not much in here. There's a lot of air in here, I'm sure. But the PlayStation logo looks really nice. Sony looks really nice. We got a reset button. Nice feel on those buttons. Of course, it doesn't go ka-chunk like it did originally, but it's got a nice sound to it. I wonder how it will play when I'm playing. Of course, here on the back, HDMI and the power port, I'm assuming. And this is a nice feature. They actually molded the I/O port. Now, I've seen some people try to pry this open, and I'm like, no, that's obviously not real. I mean, you can just look. If you look closely, you can tell that that's just molded plastic. So anybody who has tried to open this was just dumb. Yes, I'm saying that right now. If you tried to open this, you're kind of dumb. See, USB on the front, nice little molded piece here. The virtual, the memory card slot there. The details are really spot on. I'm really, really liking the detail here. These vents cut into the bottom, and then of course you see the RF shielding underneath there. Now, I don't believe that's real RF shielding. I believe that's just for effect. But on the original, that was part of the RF shielding and the heatsink system. So it's nice to see it. That was one of the just little design features of the original that I liked. The vents on the side, I can't tell if those are real. I doubt it. I doubt they're real. But I don't believe... No, they are not. They do not go through. Bummer. Oh well, that's okay. So that means we don't have a whole lot of airflow here, but that's okay because I don't think it's going to need it. Model SCPH 1000R, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So that's it. Sony Interactive Entertainment Incorporated. So that's that. And of course we can open this guy. Like damage the box, because I'm actually really appreciating the box here. So open this little guy up, and inside we have our HDMI cable. No AC adapter, of course, so I'm gonna have to pull one out of my supply. And we'll take a look at the controller here. I love how they've done the controllers. My only gripe is that this was not the controller that I had originally. This is, of course, the original controller. I did have the DualShock because mine was the system that they revised the controller for the DualShock, and that's what it came with. But that's okay. That's okay. I did play a lot of games like this. My cousin had a PlayStation before I did, and spent a lot of summers at his house. And for a summer or two, he had a PlayStation, I did not, and I think it was 97 then that I got my PlayStation. That would have made sense. This came out in 94, 95, 95 maybe? I don't know. Anyway, nostalgia and memory is always a fallible device. Yeah, nice feel on the buttons. It feels like the original controller. I would have to weigh this versus the original controller just to see, but everything feels right. Everything feels nice. It just doesn't have the DualShocks here in front, but like I said, that's okay because I did play a lot of Crash Bandicoot, a lot of Final Fantasy VII, and a lot of Tunnel B1 with just this controller. So there's that, but I do really appreciate this. This is nice. This is a nice little feature. The original controller style USB. Because of course the controllers, when you plugged them in, they stuck out, like a sore thumb. That's a nice feature right there. The USB goes in, and it looks like the original. It does look like the original controller port. So that's I really do appreciate the attention to detail here. And I'm gonna get a lot of hate from the Gamer Bros, but I don't care because I just enjoy this. I really enjoy this. And of course, no bench test or anything like that yet. Haven't played any games on it yet. I've heard horror stories about the PAL emulation, but we're going to be able to fix all of that thanks to the tireless, incredible efforts of the hacking community, and I am going to bring you the hows and the whys of how to get this thing corrected. I will be bringing that to you as that becomes available. So there's that. Oh yeah, and there's a little USB power cable there too, so I'll have to get one of those. Anyway, that is the Sony PlayStation Classic. We'll be doing a little bit more with this, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified over the next few weeks as as more and more comes out, and we get more in depth with it. So next video is going to be a teardown of the internals, and then we'll start getting into the firmware hacking and see if we can get this thing proper versus my personal PlayStation collection, which is mostly JRPGs at this point, but whatever. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification button. There are social media dealies over here. Here is a video that YouTube thinks you'll probably enjoy, and down here is a newsletter, so you'll be notified of all the neat stuff that happens as it happens and when it comes. And in the meantime, my name is Atari, and until next time, tally ho, y'all.
You are not ready!